I've come down to a much bigger gravel bar today, and I have my 1.5-inch pump that I tested the other day for just pure weight. It works really good. I'm glad I've transitioned. What I've done is I set the sluice up at 2¼ inches per foot. So it's really steep, so I get lots of water velocity. I'm just going to run the hog mat for the first 3/4 of my sluice and a little bit at the end. I'm just using a 1/2-inch tray to hold it in because I don't have a way to hold it down right now. Things are working well. And this is some leftover media from my dig on video number 3. I just want to make sure that I capture only black sand in here. I was a little upset yesterday about Doc always saying, well, don't be a pussy, don't be scared, crank on it. Well, if you look at video number 1, I did crank on it and I lost all my gold. And all this talk about experimentation and you got to play, well, I'm one of the guys that's doing it and I'm having a tough time. Spent half my summer already experimenting. It's fun, but I got other things to do. Okay, and I don't want to hear no crap about active exchange. That mat is almost cleaned right out. You can barely see any blonde sands in there. None. These are all the rocks that fit through a 1/4-inch grizzly that are normally stuck in the 1/2-inch expanded metal, or at least some of them. The hog mat is pretty clean. Not very much in there at all, but there is lots of black sand in there. It's nice. This might be my first positive review. And you can see there's all the blonde sands that are on the beach. And there's the hole that I dug out. And here's the cons. Alright, I blew a fitting, so the plant's down. I'm gonna shut it down for the day. Grade's might not be as good here as my other spot, but it'll be a good test. So here are the gold hog cons. And I'm gonna clean them down a Cali sluice just for something different today. And then I'll probably switch it up to my miller table. One thing I notice is that there's blonde sand, but most of that's from some of the buildup at the front of the sluice and the rear of the sluice. There's a lot of black sand, and it worked quite well for the active exchange, producing just black sand without the 1/2-inch expanded metal. It's quite possible that it's also creating too many additional vortexes and eddies and blowing out some of the hog mat captures back into the slurry that's going down the sluice. So I'm looking forward to this cleanup. I definitely got it working to where it should be according to Gold Hog. Then I'll have to compare that against an actual dig out. For flower gold recovery, tons of water and tons of slope just wasn't working, and riffle trays. It was just putting it back up into the slurry. So maybe it does work best without any type of additional tray or expanded metal or riffle for flower gold recovery. Doc there said he wasn't worried about losing too many -100s because they were doing quite well capturing much larger gold. But for me here, it does make all the difference in the world to try and get as much of it as I can. So I set it up to auto feed it a little bit. Got to process it really slow through the bucket sluice here. I think I like my cleanup sluice better. And again, I wasn't saying that Gold Hog doesn't recover the small cons and small gold. I'm just saying that I'm doing it exclusively because that's all I have, so it's very important. Alright, I've gone back to my cleanup sluice. Performs better. Miller table. Final cleanup. How do we stabilize -100, -200, even some -300 gold? Did the hog mat catch it? Absolutely. There it is. What I'm trying to figure out is what captures more for my regional gold. If you're just catching this now, be sure to check out videos 1 through 4 to see where I've come from. And watch it float down this miller table at really slow volume. So how do I contain that in an active mat. Last video here before I weigh it and put it in a jar. Pretty small stuff. It's on 1 centimeter macro on my camera. Zeroed out with some existing gold, and now it's weighed. 0.06 of a gram. Alright, as I close off here, what I've done is I've cut all of the riffles and the 3/4 inch expanded metal out of one of my trays, so I can use this tray to hold down the hog mat very well. I left 2 riffles at the end as a nugget trap or to find little odd gems that are still in the river, but I can also use this to secure other types of hog mats without compromising the integrity of the mat. For the moss, I found that the 1/2 inch expanded did work the best. So now that I know to run both mats at a slower water pace, I run this one at about 1.5 inches per linear foot, and I run this with no riffles because my other videos demonstrated that it didn't do well with any type of riffle action, putting the small micro gold back up into the laminar flow, that I'll be running it just bare. That was when I really had the best performance at 2¼ inches per foot and slow water speed. Video number 1 and 2 just proved that fast and lots of water contribute to gold losses, but the velocity seems to work well at lower water speeds for my regional gold, which is very small, -100, -200. So I found it. I took it right from the top all the way to the bottom. I'm much happier today. I was agitated the other day, but now I know my water rates, my slope rates for 2 systems, and now I'm gonna have a lot of fun. So next video, I really know how to attack my gold and how to maximize my recoveries. So I should really start to see my numbers climb. And I should mention, even though I didn't get very much gold this time, I was digging in a pretty low gold or grade area. So, but I was very pleased with the amount of black sands that I found and the amount of cons that I had to clean up when I came home. So that was a huge win for me today. So I'm much happier, and I think once I put this on to stabilize my mat, I can run any type of mat or carpets or other Gold Hog products down this system, and I can still have a passive capture system that works very well if I get into a little bit bigger gold that needs some more vortex action driving it down.